Frequency Radio.
I'm starting off fresh and I feel good. I look good. I smells good. I am good. Happy Friday, my friend.
Thank God it's Friday.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Good morning, TFR.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the planet. To this show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on The Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
And happy Friday to you all. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Ironworx, right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. And it is a Friday, my dudes. Feels like it's been a minute since we broadcast on a Friday. Maybe because it has been. What's up, gentlemen?
Hey there, Josh.
Hello. I was typing and then this happened. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the week, Josh?
It was okay. Still sort of hacking and gagging on all the shit that's coming out of my lungs after last week's sickness. So, other than that, I'd say it's decent. Work's been mediocre. Our actually Christmas party is tomorrow night. We rented out the entire Busch Stadium, which is the local St. Louis Cardinals stadium in which they play here at home.
What?
Yeah. So it's just going to be us walking around like the dugouts and the outfields and shit like that, just chilling at the baseball stadium.
Never heard of some company renting out something like that.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
That's a pretty penny. War's good, huh?
War is good.
Wow.
War is profitable at the very least. Maybe not good, but profitable nonetheless.
You get to, oh yeah, not good. Yeah. Good for the bottom line of the company. So do you get to bring everybody? Is your son going to go?
Yep. I think he might have this year, maybe one more. I think they allow 22 years to be for the children. So he'll be going this year. Yeah, this will be the first year he can drink, so we'll see what he does. But he's not a big drinker. Thank goodness. How about you, Zach? How was your week?
Oh, not too bad. Got to see James. James came over this week and helped me. Man, these cast iron sinks are not light. They're just, I felt bad getting rid of. I took them to Goodwill because I could not throw cast iron, these big, no rust on them, ceramics not cracked, it's all still clean. They just wanted new sinks. So I took them to Goodwill, and I don't know if I really don't go to Goodwill anymore since I found out that they're not for profit.
Right.
And yeah, I guess they sell everything there now. because my neighbor was like, "Oh, you could just take it to Goodwill instead of the dump." Because I was looking for someone to give it to. I was like, Goodwill will take a sink, and I guess they take everything now. I don't know.
I mean, if you're getting all of your inventory that you sell donated to you for free, why tell people no? Just take everything. Somebody will buy it. Mark it down low enough.
Old stuff like that at Goodwill. I mean, it's not going to be easy for them to carry that thing, move it around, and I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, it was just I was shocked that Goodwill took old sinks.
They probably got a whole recycle division just for the things that people give them that they can't sell, that they can get money from for recycling.
I know those companies that take your old computer stuff. Have you seen those places? Like Best Buy will and stuff like that. I'm sure they're in on it. Those places make bank pulling out all the precious metals out of all the old computer components. I think it was 3 or 4 years ago. The average was like 20 to 30 tons of gold was thrown away into the garbage every year from old cell phones and, you know, anything. A lot of these things that have processors in them have gold in them. Yeah.
I give up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I give up. I am not going to be able to type. The cat will not allow it. I say, hey, everybody. That's all I can do. Sorry. But yeah, the gold thing with computers is pretty mind-blowing. I used to watch videos of people reclaiming that stuff with all kind of acids and bases and crazy things, chemical reactions, and suddenly there's gold. That's crazy. Pretty crazy. And yeah, the amount of what's out there that gets thrown away, I'm sure, would be mind-blowing.
And gold really isn't even the expensive one. It's I think it's palladium. Is that the one that's inside of the?
I know, unobtainium.
No, it's inside the.
Yeah, I think you're right, though.
Capacitors.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very toxic metal. It's very hard to smelt. It has such a high temperature, smelting temperature. Like super, super expensive. And I mean, capacitors are in everything. Everything. If you have something that has an electronic circuit board on it, most likely it's got a capacitor on it. Yeah, and those things, I save them now. I take everything apart, and I've got a whole big thing of capacitors over there.
Make you a T-shirt. Save the capacitors.
It's pretty crazy the things that like electronically become. I mean, I get that the rhodium, you know, it would be a high dollar rare thing to find, but even parts themselves. Here we go, Guitar Boy. So yeah, there's a couple things I get, you know, different magazines. I read magazines that do reviews and things on pedals and guitars and things like that. So in one of these that came by, it was when a unique pedal, blah, blah, blah. So I go click, you know, I'm all about winning a pedal. Turns out when these people were putting together a certain type of pedal, and I don't have it pulled up, so this just came out of nowhere. When they were testing the resistors and the diodes and the et cetera that I don't know enough about, apparently some germanium, probably saying that wrong, certain diodes they knew because they had tested them before or used them before or blah, 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 blah. And in this certain way they could test it, this one outperformed the rest. All the rest were great, but this one was like top dog. So they set it aside and then auctioned off this one-of-a-kind pedal that was built with this one-of-a-kind diode, Anyway, yeah, needless to say, I entered. I'll let you know if I get the one. The one. There can be only one.
So did you see that they're claiming that nuclear fusion took place?
I saw the story go by. If I didn't drop it, I was figuring one of you would. I may even have it pulled up on my phone currently to say. Yes, I do. Yep.
Yeah, they were claiming that they got 150% of the energy out that they put in. Something like that.
So they're actually claiming over Unity now, are they?
They are.
The
By
scientific.
shooting. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the scientific community is now making claims that they've refuted.
Yeah.
Forever. That over Unity is impossible. You just can't produce more than you put in. It's impossible. Scientifically impossible.
Well, I mean, we've heard this story before, so we'll see. I want to see it be recreated by another group. They're shooting like 30-something lasers into a particle or isotope of blah, 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 blah. I think it's
Man, what the fuck would science have done if we hadn't come up with some lasers? What you got? I don't know, but I'm going to shoot it with a laser. Cool.
I mean, haven't we heard this before, though, with cold fusion and this, that, and once I see it, you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have. Pretty sure.
What, cold fusion?
Or at least made the claim. Yeah, it seems like I vaguely remember not even very long ago where we had this conversation similarly.
Yeah, they claimed it was done, and then a bunch of people claimed that it was a hoax and blah, blah. Well, think about it, folks. If it was possible to do this, if we could do this, do you think they'd let us? I mean, a guy invented a car that runs on water. Where's that? You know?
Cops got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if this was real and did happen and this and that, I doubt they'd be telling us about it. And no, to me, this is NASA kicking the space can down the road. Look at, we made an achievement. So now we need more money for more funding.
The fusion achievement unlocked.
Oh, and now we can't do it again, but we're gonna keep trying. Just keep on giving us that money. We'll figure it out. There was a fly in front of one of the lasers, and we just didn't realize it. And
oops.
And now we have a brundlefly running. No, go on. Damn. Oh, that's a great movie too. Damn.
What movie?
Said now there's a brundlefly running around. Oh, no.
Oh.
The fly, man. Come on. That was what he called it when he went in to fix it. When he went in to fix it, he was calling himself the brundlefly, and the program was right.
Maybe that's where I missed it.
Okay, I'm way too anal about movies. It's really a great movie, though. It came out of nowhere, shocked the hell out of everybody. A lot of great effects. Don't watch it after dinner. Like for years after dinner, don't watch
it. So, have you seen this new AI image generation tech can now create life-wrecking deepfakes with ease?
Yeah.
They're warning people about pulling your images off the internet because AI can put you in any situation it wants to now. They're showing a picture of this guy. It says, this is John. He doesn't. AI can easily put a photo of him in any situation we want. And the same process can apply to real people with just a few real photos pulled from social media. So this AI has really gone off. These inoffensive social media style images of John were used as the training data that our AI used to put him in more compromising positions. So he is a real person. Or no, maybe used as a training data that our AI used to put in. Oh. Using nothing but those 7 images, someone could train AI to regenerate images that make it seem like John has a secret life. For example, he might like to take nude selfies in his classroom. John might go to bars dressed like a clown. Wow, so is this plausible deniability right here? Because I just heard somebody that was a victim on Epstein Island has video footage. I heard this yesterday. Ransom. I forget her first name. Ransom. Weird last name, right? Ransom, though. And she says she has video footage of elites doing things to children. And when they say children, they're not talking about a 17-year-old or, somebody that's real close to 18, but just not quite there yet. They're talking about children, preteen children. And supposedly she's taking it to some court and this and that. I mean, it's not really on the news. I'm not seeing it all over the place like it should be. But could this be one of their, hey, that's AI. That's not really me. That's AI.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing, sir?
I am doing wonderful. And speaking on what you're talking about there, Zach, there was a stream that hopefully everyone knows about. Nathan Stoltman. He does the Lift the Veil thing on Rockpin and I think YouTube. Anyways, he had Zack Voorhees he's that guy that worked at Google, and he's blowing the whistle on all the different kinds of like corruption that was going on with like censorship and stuff, and he got fired. Anyways, he was on with Nathan Stoltman yesterday, and the guy is like a engineer, programmer, coder, and he's pretty freaking intelligent as far as I can tell. And he's doing a lot of the entire conversation was basically just about AI and like brain chips and stuff. I would highly recommend people to actually like watch that stream just to see what he was
Drop
actually
that link somewhere if you can in a minute, Andrew.
Yeah, sure. It's I'm right here on the channel, so let me hopefully it doesn't give me any feedback. Yeah, this is just from yesterday on Rockfin. I'll drop it in the Skype chat. That way everyone can like I'll try and drop it somewhere else too.
Big shout out to everybody watching over there on Rockfin too, by the way.
Yeah, so Rockfin is pretty much the only service I use anymore. Like YouTube, I'll go on there once in a while, like if I need to figure out how to like, rebuild a transmission or something. But that's about it. Or how to cook a recipe.
Right, learn some guitar riffs I don't know. I go there for that a lot. But it's gotten to where I don't even go there and watch content. Even when I go digging back for stuff that I used to like watch all the time, like obvious, like not there, or it's there and the whole vibe has become just a hotbed of drama, and I just don't do drama, so I move on.
But yeah, also what I heard Zach talking about was the water-powered vehicles. Well, there's a lot of information about that, obviously, and YouTube actually doesn't suppress that as much as you think they would. And about 5 years ago, roughly, I found out about this whole water, you can use electrolysis to extract the hydrogen and use that to power an engine. And I got really, really interested in that. So I had another electrician buddy that was also aware of that. And we got together and we built a little tiny hydrogen extractor. And we failed big time. So we had to actually go online and buy one. And the one we got, it was about $175, came in mason jars. And what we ended up doing, and the reason we were doing this was because my buddy Adam, another electrician, one of his hobbies is to build go-karts, like from scratch. Like he'll weld the frame together and like, you know, put the engine in and you know, the whole thing. So he had all sorts of like scrap parts around and go-karts. And what we decided to do was actually do this hydrogen extraction and remove the fuel line in the fuel tank entirely and just pump hydrogen directly into the go-kart engine. I don't know what the horsepower of it anything about the engine at all, except for the fact that we were pumping hydrogen directly into the engine of it while the hydrogen extraction was happening. That's called a wet cell extraction, by the way. And the engine ran for about 5 minutes until Adam accidentally knocked over the mason jar, which had all the water in it, and it shut off pretty much instantly. So it is possible. I don't know how it works on a large scale with like cars and stuff, but it's absolutely possible.
Yeah, Lucas F.C. King built a GEET. They call them GEET engines, GEET, and yeah, he said it ran better on water than it did because he started it up with a little bit of gasoline in it. It was just an old lawnmower engine, and he did it with parts from a hardware store in his local town. You don't need, you know, special machine, this or that, or yada, yada, yada. You can do this with stuff you can find. And he built it, and he said he thought it for sure once he started pouring water into it that it was just going to turn off. And he said it started idling even smoother when all the gasoline was gone. There was nothing but water in there. You can run it on coffee, tea, piss, whatever you want to put in there.
Yeah, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like Doc Martin, or what's his name from Back to the Future, Doc.
Right.
That part where it's Back to the Future 2, I think, when they just start putting like banana peels and coke cans and stuff.
Right. Absolutely.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Yeah, when we met Adam, he was trying to create the GAN solution and dipping wires and coiling them up and getting energy from coiled up fucking wires with some stuff on it. I mean, that was literally it. There was charge coming from the fucking air. So it's pretty crazy what's right there if you dig. I was keeping up with that whole, was it Kesha movement. Yeah. In fact, I still see when they go live, it pops up. It's one of the few I still get from way back that goes live once every 4 or 5 months. George Wiseman stuff for mileage. I don't know that Catch-22.
So I've got a little bit of a theory here, and I can't prove it, but it's just my personal theory that whatever the ISS happens to be, I think that it's tough to say, but I think that they're using some sort of like a water-powered hydrogen type of a system in that thing because it can be tracked for many, many hours. So it stays up in the sky for longer than most things ever do. And it's moving very, very fast, whatever it is. It's obviously not, what do they say, 270 miles away or something like that, which would be impossible to see with a camera or your naked eye. So whatever it is, it's very close and it has an obvious shape. And I think this is my personal little conspiracy, that I think that's a form of free energy that's being used, and or it's a fucking alien or an extraterrestrial, whatever you want to say.
I could see something like, I mean, if they didn't know what it was, but there's this new light in the sky, a new wandering star, I could see them, you know, even going as far as faking moon transits and sun transits and all this other stuff. I mean, how would they explain that? A new wandering star that's faster than all the planets and this and that and yada, yada, yada. I mean, if they didn't know what it was, yeah, of course they would take credit for it. You know?
Well, the thing about it that I've always had a hard time with is the fact that there's the ISS, and Jaren's been talking about this, and I think Karen also has been a little bit, about there's the ISS transit finder. I've never been to the website. I don't really know. I've just seen people go to it. But so the moon can be seen from different angles on our flat Earth. And the ISS tracker, you can see it transit across the front of the moon and sometimes in front of the sun. So there's obviously something up there. I don't know what it is, but it would be really, really weird for like the military or government to just happen to have this particular craft fly in front of this luminous object in the sky at a certain time. So it doesn't seem like that it's a hoax necessarily. There's obviously nobody in it as far as I know, and it's not as big as they say it is, but there's something up there.
I mean, it could be a U-2 plane flying at like 70,000 feet that's decked out with some LEDs or something like that.
Right, but it's based on a time frame. You can actually like track it. So they would have to be really, really accurate with, like, if they were going to fake it, like, have an airplane like launch off from an airfield and transit in front of this one particular luminous object in the sky at a certain time, and they would have to do that every single day nonstop. And
the transits are really it's weird. It's not like a whole bunch of...
Oh, I guess that's going to be breakbeat. And I guess that's going to be the end of the first segment of the Ironworks right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. Stick around. We've still got a whole nother second half of the first half of the show coming up right after this. We'll be right back.
Here's number 2 in the art of persuasion. Accurate facts. Accurate facts. We call it dealing in truth. Accuracy is very important. Here's why. It builds credibility. Credibility starts to weaken if you mess with the facts, the truth, the correct numbers. Now, everybody will give you room for what we call an unintentional error in dealing in facts. Now, see, if my watch says about 7:28, but if you were to ask me what time is it, and I was to say it's 7:30, you would allow me to be a couple of minutes off, right? If I said it was 7:30, but accurately, really, truthfully, it was 7:28, you would give me that error to just quickly say 7:30, right? You would say, you didn't mean to mess up my life, right? By leading me astray with this erroneous information that it was 7:30 when really it was only 7:28. Now, there are times and occasions when you may have to be precise, and it may be a life and death matter.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendivite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendivite today. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Hey everyone, it's Mark Sargent from Strange World, broadcasting live every Tuesday evening, 10 to 12 Eastern, 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on True Frequency Radio. Strange World covers a wide range of topics, from enclosed world theory to lunar waves to the end of the world in film. It's basically doomsday with a silver lining. With the audience as my co-host, we take an optimistic approach to all things conspiracy and promote confidence, hope, and humor whenever possible. If there's a topic you want us to cover or a guest you would like to see interviewed, please email me at msargent23@comcast.net. So please join me and tell your friends about Truth Frequency Radio, the leader in real radio programming, bringing you quality, cutting-edge broadcasts from around the world.
You are now
tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
This is Michael Tyson. You probably know me better as Iron Mike, but I don't go by Iron Mike no more because I used to be a monster. I'm a different person now. I'm all about happiness. But what is happiness? I'll tell you what happiness is. Every time I listen to my favorite show, Iron Realm Media, it's a truther show on YouTube.
And welcome back to the second half of the first half of the Ironworks, kicking off right about now. We are joined by our buddy Andrew B. Just hanging out, talking free energy, over unity, all other sorts of fairy tales.
Over unity. Yep.
Yep.
I found this one from Ars Technica.
Oh, this ought to be good.
Space debris expert. What does it take to become a space debris expert? Let's see. Orbits will be lost and people will die later this decade. That's the title.
That's quite the proclamation.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to die.
Is that a job?
Apparently.
Yeah, space debris expert. This is Mariba Yah, J-A-H, is an astrodynamicist at the University of Texas Austin, Texas
Yes.
A&M.
Space dynamicist?
Astrodynamicist.
Astro.
This is like a job position you can apply for, and it says people are going to die. Like the military doesn't even say that.
That's
no.
Part of their job, they get to foretell the future, and they're going to pay this person all this money so that they can accurately describe future events like people dying.
I'm looking at you, pretty boy. Anyway.
What the fuck is going on?
I don't even know.
Well, because space debris, don't you know? They're going to lose their orbits, they're going to crash into Earth, and people will die.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every day now when people get sleepy on the watch. And
how long have satellites been up there and being used now? And now they're going to start falling out of the sky 50 years later?
Oh, yeah. So a little story here. My uncle, who's a now retired mechanical engineer, worked for Lockheed Martin. And many years ago, like 20 years ago, when I was, pretty young, maybe 25 years ago, we were having like a family get together, and he was talking about how China allegedly sent a missile or a rocket up into, the alleged space, which I believed in at the time. And they destroyed one of their own satellites just to prove that they could do that to other countries. And my first thought was, well, what happens to all the space debris that's around that at that point? So at some point, there's going to be something that's going to hit these things and cause just a massive collision, destroying it and causing
a domino effect of everything else that's now right. Absolutely.
And we're not experiencing any of that. We don't have space debris like just falling on people's houses randomly. Like that should be happening pretty often. With considering that there's like what they say, up to 20,000 satellites up there or something, some bullshit like that. By the way, when I teach my solar class, that's actually in the text. I can show you the textbook right now. It shows you in a textbook, a solar textbook, teaching electricians how to install solar, that there's satellites up above us. It's in the fucking textbook. I can't believe that crap. I try and skip over that now. Like, I still have to show it to people because it's on the test.
That's wild.
That is wild. Seems just.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nope.
No, I was going to talk about something totally different. Go.
Do it. No, good. Something totally different.
So, as far as we know, only one person has ever been hit. Good old Lottie Williams. I couldn't remember her name, but I remember her story. So, in all of the history of us having floating space cans flying around willy-nilly, people blowing up satellites to prove their world power, etc., only Lottie, whose story is slowly loading here, was struck harmlessly in the shoulder by a piece of debris in 1997.
That's what terminal velocity gets you.
It was about the size of her hand. God damn, this story keeps jumping around from the ads. It was about the size of her hand and thought to have come from a Delta II rocket. Thought to come from a Delta II rocket. She picked it up, took it home, reported it to the authorities the next day. Yeah, that terminal velocity. Dangerous. All right, you can turn now to another topic. I just wanted to find her name.
Lottie Dottie.
Hey, so what do you guys think about?
Get your effort. Oh, I'm sorry, guy.
Like the like meteorites, asteroids. Well, meteorites specifically, like the one that was in Russia. What was it? Maybe 15 years ago, where there was like even police cam footage of it. It just like it looked like a meteorite, and all of a sudden it exploded and it just caused all the windows to break out, like in the entire city. Yeah. What do you guys think about those?
I don't know. I mean, was that man-made? I don't know. Is there stories of stuff falling from the sky and hitting Earth throughout time? Yeah. I mean, when it comes from up, it's really a big question mark to me. As you know, I've seen video of them showing the meteor coming in, and then right before the explosion, this other thing comes in and like hits it and causes it to explode. Now, you know, it's like half a frame, this and that, yada, yada, yada. I don't know. I don't know if that was from the heavens above or if that was space lettuce, something that we did. Maybe that was another country testing out some kind of weapon. I don't know. Interesting, though. I don't think the creator would make things like that to destroy his creation.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that one. That's why I don't believe in hell. I don't think the creator would create a doomsday scenario for us if we didn't understand a particular language or something. But
no, I don't think there's an eternal place where your soul goes to burn for eternity. I'm sure there's probably places that we go to learn lessons, you know, like, hey, you were bad, you got to sit in timeout for a little bit. Possibly. Or, you know, maybe that's just thinking really human.
It's technically described as eternal punishing, not punishment. Eternal removal from the presence of the creator. Not ever about a lake of fire. In fact, the only thing cast into a pit are stars apparently that decide not to hang
Follow.
out in their assigned trajectories, and they get cast down. And that was in the Enoch tales, and casting down of a moving.
It really could be
thing.
in your mind. I mean, to remove God from your world would be impossible. The Creator's everywhere. He's all around us. Turn a leaf, lift a rock, there he is, right? So maybe it's more these people are living their own hell here on earth while they're alive because they've removed the Creator. They don't believe in a Creator. They, all these atheists that think they're floating around on a little speck of dust that could be wiped out in any second and yada, 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 this godless universe. I mean, I was that person a decade ago, a little over a decade ago, and I was miserable. I didn't know why I was even here anymore. I didn't want to do it anymore, It was like this place was a burden to me back then. And now I can't even try to think that way. Now that I know there's a Creator and this and that and yada, yada, it's not always rainbows and bunnies, but I have a much greater appreciation for everything I have and just the sun coming around. I appreciate that, so I think the hell can be within us. It's not a place you go, it's a place inside you that has removed the Creator.
Yeah, speaking on that, I don't really like Sam Tripoli very much. I think he's kind of annoying, but he did actually make one really good quote that I would like to repeat right now. And he says that, he's not going to come out and flat out admit that he's a flat earther, even though he pretty much knows it. He calls himself a realm earther. And then going on that, he says that we are living in the highest parts of hell and the lowest parts of heaven. We're sort of stuck in between right now, which is a very interesting concept to consider.
Yeah, what is it? Limbo. We're in limbo.
Yeah, essentially.
In between the two other realms.
And yeah, even though it cannot be proven, it's an interesting concept to consider because I'm not religious at all. I'm also not an atheist. I've never been an atheist, but I've realized that deism is the only form of theology that I can ever get on board with. Meaning, if people aren't familiar with what deism is, it's sort of like I had a coworker who was very, very Christian, who I would argue with all the time, and he told me that I'm basically part of the deism clockmaker, watchmaker type of theology, and I didn't know what that meant at all. So I looked it up, and essentially is if someone builds a clock, all they have to do is build it and then make it operate, and then they watch it, and they don't intervene on it until it messes up or breaks. So essentially that's like God being the clockmaker, and then we are the clock. We're just being watched and observed, and then if something gets really, really messed up, then the Creator will come along and fix it, or just rebuild it, or destroy it.
I like that. I'm seeing some people in chat, they want Josh's opinion on this.
Well, for heaven and hell, just take that little step back. What if rather than a punishment, the punishment aspect is part of the control that's been added to religion? But this idea of heaven and hell being just sort of natural byproducts of dealing with sort of this subject. Once this meat suit runs out of its last little bit of energy, that energy is not destroyed nor is it created. The energy is always there. So what if it's just sort of this transitory process from one energy to the next? Sometimes if you're transitioning up, It seems like you're going into heaven. If you're transitioning down, it seems like you're going into hell, but it's really just this natural byproduct. It's like jumping into a lake. You're going to get wet. That's just the nature of it. That's just part of jumping in the water. That's part of being in water is you get wet. And then somebody comes along and says, oh, don't jump into the water. You'll get wet. But if you listen to me, I'll learn how to keep you dry with everlasting life, etc., etc., etc. So maybe you can control sort of which way that energy is going to transition once it leaves your meat suit for the final time. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but it's just sort of this natural progression of the way the energy works, or it's just a natural byproduct of death. And maybe from like a Christian point of view, you have to be perfect to get into heaven. Right? You just can't. That's the sort of the nature of heaven. God is perfect. And in order to be around God in heaven, you yourself are required to be perfect. Now, if you're Jewish, all you have to do is follow every single law that God has ever written down perfectly and to the T, and you get to heaven. If you're a Christian, well, then that's what Christ was for, because we know that no human can ever follow every single one of God's laws to the T, to the point to get them into heaven. So you have to come and make that energetic sacrifice in order to perfect those energetic bodies, to keep them going up a level rather than down a level. And so Christ came and shed his blood to wash away all the sins of man, to keep that energy from transitioning down. And then I think there was deism, and sort of what is religion. I don't even know that I could argue that a clockmaker or a watchmaker intervenes when things go horribly wrong. You would think they would. It would make sense that they would. Or the clock or the watch needs winding on occasion. But you would think they would intervene, but I've never seen it.
Well, the more specific point about deism is that we are here, we were created, and that's as far as I can take it. I can't say that the Quran or the Talmud or the Bible or the Bhagavad Gita or any of these things are actually factual, because no one can actually prove it. And I've spoken with many people about this topic in very long discussions, and there's I can't even prove to you that my grandparents existed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to go back and prove a lot of these theological ideas that are written in books that are used, in my opinion, as a control mechanism. And I know I'm getting a little aggressive with my point of view here, but I'll shut up. Never mind.
Well, you certainly don't have to shut up, Andrew. I mean, it's, the idea of why is there not some great hand that comes down and fixes things and blah, blah, blah. I mean, to me, it's back to that old idea of what the hell are we doing here in the first place? It can't just be a random ascension process. It can't just be follow my rules or shit out of luck. Those things, again, are, to me, more control mechanisms. I agree with you completely, sir. And Josh, everything you said was nailing it. And there's so many different aspects to it that I don't think there's just even one answer. But I know my personal beliefs about it have vastly evolved over my lifetime. And of late, I kind of hang around that idea of, if I was this infinite thing of infinite knowledge and infinite power, and yet I was alone, which is what some of the versions tell us, then at some point that's going to be pretty maddening. And so the only way to create even an illusion of separateness is to create this creation of separateness. And the only way to sustain that idea of separateness is to separate us out and keep us from being psychically aware, and definitely keeping us in complete isolation, separation from the idea of that original source, and all these ideas to keep the belief of this being a real place going. The horribleness, the evil things, the darkness, the entities, all the things that we all warriors fight against, it's just all part of the system. That's why I think of late it kind of feels like, you know, what we do, what we say, things we affect has to be just, you know, us, this family we've created, our personal family. We're not going to fix the idiot fucks on the idiot box. We're not going to fix the world. We're not going to, you know, change everybody's mind all at once with some incredible, oh, they got it. I know I've got rambled and spun out here a bit, but it just seems like an idea of some great fix coming from above is more control and keeping you waiting and keeping you not enjoying this fucking creation and what you're doing here and loving each other and sharing that energy. And yeah, getting back to source is part of it, but I don't even think that's ultimately the goal. I don't know. I'm rambling. Go ahead. Somebody take over shit.
I'll add a little something to that as far as being attached to something. So I've got a really good buddy. He's Punjabi, born and raised in India, you know, which is west India, and speaks 4 languages, has a master's degree in IT, super smart guy. So I talked to him about Hinduism quite a bit, and he's been actually trying to teach me a little bit of it, even though it's a really hard language. Anyways, how to speak Hindi. Anyways, I asked him how many gods there were in Hinduism. He said millions. I was like, what the hell? I never heard of that before. So I went online and I looked it up, and apparently there's like 330 million gods in the Hindu religion. That's a really weird number, isn't it?
That's really crazy. Yes,
yeah, 330 million. You know, there's the 33 again.
God for everything, then? I take it?
Yeah. I mean, there's barely that many people in India.
God of grass, God of, yeah, I mean.
So I actually have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita sitting right next to me, actually. You know, he gave me a copy of it. I started reading through it and realized it was just like the Bible, just older. And I put it down there.
It's a little tough read, though. It really is, yes. Andrew. I had a copy in college, and a friend of mine gave me who was Hindu, and man, it was, yeah, it was a slow plod going getting through that bad boy, but it has some good points. It has some great things, and like you say, it definitely echoes. I mean, it all to me is just the same story told over and over and over. We heard that.
Point,
you know.
Yeah, the point I was getting at though was if there's 5 major religions, right? Like the ancient ones, then you can also add different ones like Scientology and scientism and different things like that nowadays. But the 5 major religions all have ancient textbooks or religious books, and they all have different gods that they're associated with. Then you can even go back further into like Roman mythology, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, different things like that. There's other gods, you know, Egyptian mythology. Like how many gods are there that have ever been thought about throughout history? It's a really weird thing to start to think about.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the oldest that we know of is Hermetic, right?
I thought it was Sumerian, but I could be wrong.
I'm not sure which came first, but I know in Hermeticism, all is from one. There's one source that creates everything.
Except
and everything. Yeah, everything comes from that, and everything returns to it. It's a big cycle.
Oh, in that sense, yeah. Eric Dubé actually did a really, really good video about that. It's called, I didn't even know, because I don't know much about the Bible, even though I've read like half of it, that God apparently is I am. That's like the word of God in the Bible, or the name of God, I think. And that's like, I am.
God was removed over 700 times. Yod-He-Vav-He, the 4 letters in Hebrew, Yehovah. There's different, pronunciations since they didn't use vowels in the Hebrew alphabet. But yeah, that name has been removed. And I've seen some pretty miraculous things done by, true believers, just Jack, actually, where he would say, in the name of Yehovah, I command thee. And I've seen nature, I've seen mechanical devices react to him using that name as like power. He truly believes there is power in that name. And maybe it's just Jack doing it, and maybe his belief in that power, it's like I'm having a magic wand. That name to him is like having a magic wand. He has so much intent and belief and knowing that that's like his.
I think that's the big thing, is the intent. I don't know if it necessarily means that because you're Christian and you pray to Jesus, or if you're, Muslim and you pray to Muhammad. Like, it's the intent that matters the most. Because I've met people. I've been all around the world, and I've met every religion in the world, and they all claim that their religion is correct because they pray to a certain thing. Now, they're not praying like a Buddhist isn't praying to Jesus.
Hold that thought, Andrew.
Yeah, that one snuck up on me too. I'm just so engrossed in this. Anyway, stick around. We'll have more. Buddhists just not praying to Christ. Right after these brief messages, in the first half of the second half of the Ironworx, right here, Truth Frequency Radio, TFRLive.com. Right after this.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
My fellow Americans, we embarked on a mission to make America great again for all Americans. As I conclude my term as the 45th President of the United States, we did what we came here to do. Well, it's about time. Please don't lose that respect. The world respects us again. Please don't lose that respect. Make America great again. Great respect. Great respect. Please don't lose that respect. The movement we started is just beginning. To serve as your president has been an honor beyond description. I had not spent my career as a politician, and perhaps most importantly of all, thousands of people came out with their families. I knew that they did not just come out for me. It deeply moved me. They came out to show me their support and love for me. I did not seek the easiest course. I did not. We did what we came here to do. Please don't lose that respect. The world respects us again. Please don't lose that respect. Make America great again. Great respect. Great respect. Please don't lose that respect. The movement we started is just beginning. So I left behind my former life and stepped into a very difficult arena. Now, as I leave the White House, we must never forsake our belief in America. I fought for you. I fought for your family. I fought for our country. Above all, I fought for America, strong, proud, and free. We extend our best wishes, and we also want them to have luck. A very, important word. Please don't lose that respect. The world respects us again. Please don't lose that respect.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Good morning. I'm here. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up!
Wake up! What is dark matter?
Okay, we don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Everyone knows all reputable information comes from random people on the internet. Tell me things, internet. The earth is flat. It's like school in your hand.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe that dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. There was one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard.
Hi, this is Alan. I like Ironworx because it's where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came.
I love Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack. It's like sitting in your front room having a cosy chat with your best friends.
Hi, it's Diva here, and I just want you to know that Ironworx with Josh, Walt and Zack, it's definitely my favourite dose of reality. Come join the family and keep it flat.
Why sleep in when you could get your dose of iron in the morning? Listen to the Ironworx on TFR.
This is Enlightened Dawn. Roses are red, violets are blue. Iron Realm Media is the best on the plane. To the show, I will forever be true. You guys are truly the best, and I love you guys. I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Do you like listening to space letters from Never a Straight Answer? Then tune in to The Ironworx with Zack, Walter, and Josh. Break clear of the fear on the Ironworx and become an Iron Scout.
And welcome back to the first half of the second half of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio, TFRlive.com. You can also find us on our Facebook page, Iron Realm Media. We're live there. If you're a Twitterer, whether old or a recent Twitterer, we're also broadcasting on Twitter. That's about the only thing we consistently put up on Twitter is every one of our live shows. So if you think there's one you missed, one that YouTube might have taken down, it's a good chance it's over there somewhere. Surprisingly, Facebook takes down an occasional video, usually from Sony Music. Somehow, somewhere, sometime, I play something from Sony that they like to silence my video on Facebook. But that's all right. Because we're also on Rockfin and DLive and where else? Odyssey, absolutely. And then, of course, on the YouTubes for now, at least.
And speaking of the rock band, I did say hey earlier when there were only like 3 or 4 people there. I see there's a few more now. And I also see we were tipped quite nicely there. Part of the realm. Thank you, Andrew. We appreciate the hell out of it, friend.
Just a quick heads up for people. If you have the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay, it may be malfunctioning. I'm not sure if the issue has been fixed, but Android systems, the iPhone works fine, but Android systems I know did a huge update on their operating system. And David said it's not just his app, many apps. There's all kinds of apps that are just flipping out with this new update. But they're working on it. And I would like to give if you don't have the app, and you're planning on maybe getting it, make sure it is by Blue Water Bay. I almost got tricked. I was helping David out earlier in the week, and he asked me to, uninstall the app, reinstall it, and make sure.
I did it almost too, Zach.
And there is another one that has the same exact picture, same exact name, everything. It's even a paid one. It's $3.49 though. That's why I was like, what? Because usually David's was always at the top. Well, it's no longer at the top. I don't know if it's because of the price or whatnot, but if you go to buy the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app for the first time, make sure it is no more than $2.99 and that it is by Blue Water Bay.
Shouldn't there be some sort of like a copyright issue with that?
I don't know. I know copyright laws are kind of, I don't know. I don't know if David.
Part of it is the Android infrastructure being so loose. That's why Android is so easy for Dave and his people to do things for. And that's why you can do music apps easier if you run an Android phone, or if you have a guitar app going through your Mac computer. All those systems through Apple are all very stringently ruled. You can't come up with some crazy new shit and throw it in the mix and hope it works like you get all the time from the Google Play Store, which used to be a call for the Android. I mean, when Android first hit, I didn't even want an iPhone. And then suddenly someone had this new phone that was like a real computer in your hand, and I could go like get free music and crazy apps that would do nuts things, turn my phone into a ghost hunter and a tricorder and like fun things. I'm like, yeah, I'll play with the phone now. They got me. And then suddenly Google bought it, and it all turned to what we all have fun with now, including David. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I was going to speak on what Zach was saying as far as the updates. I have an iPhone 8 Plus. I know I'm kind of far behind on that one, but I've had no issues with it at all. But in regards to that, I've met people from the app. We actually have our own private Telegram from this particular area here in San Jose, California, or, roughly around here. So trust me, it works. People want to be reached out to. Just talk to people.
They absolutely do. I was having some trouble with it. I've uninstalled it, and when I went back to reinstall it, I almost got tricked, etc. And I had just thrown up as a quick, hi, let me see how I make a group. Was this, South Louisiana group, and suddenly there's like a ton of people in there that I don't have a clue where they came in, it's blowing up. It's great.
Well, I know down in South America, I'm not sure about Dave's app. I haven't really looked, but like Iru and a couple of his buddies he brought to Denver to the FEIC. One of the guys I met, really, really nice guy, Guillermo. I forget his last name. I feel horrible now. But really, really nice gentleman. Couldn't have anything nicer to say about me. I was just taken aback big time. But yeah, he was on their national television on one of like a big channel, a big show, talking about flat Earth and not being ridiculed or mocked. Iru has done it. They're getting real airtime. It's like going on Tucker and him asking you serious questions and not mocking and ridiculing and like we get here on, like they would do to Mark Sargent when he would go on, stuff like that. You don't see that. It's a serious conversation they're having down there in South America. It's a beautiful thing how much this has taken off, not just here in the U.S. and our little pocket, this little pocket of the internet. This is everywhere.
Not to really harken back to it a whole lot, because, my opinions on it have changed considerably, but 25, 30 years ago, when I was hugely into the UFO community, anywhere south of the border, it was on. I mean, we had met a gentleman named Hamey. What was his last name? I can't remember his last name. He was like this huge guy in Mexico with the UFO footage, and people would send him crazy. This was like pre-cell phones. and people would send him crazy stuff they had caught footage-wise. And he was bringing it to the U.S. to these conventions, and I got to know him a little bit. And it was like you said, back then, all the real, true research, it seemed like, was going on outside of the U.S. So it's good to hear that that's going on in South America. Brandon was going down there to talk to people too a few years back. Our good buddy.
Daly. He was going to crazy places.
Yeah, little heavy duty places.
And places like that where police don't even go. And he's not your average person that grew up in southern United States. He's a big, really white, really redheaded. He was out of place there, but he said he got nothing but love from all those people. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Did he ever do the full documentary on that?
I don't know.
Are you talking about the Brandon that took over Ranty's channel after Ranty became a fag again?
No, Brandon Daly.
Brandon Daly, yeah. He was a OG from back in the day.
The Future of Flat Earth.
Yeah.
Facebook group.
Huge group at one point.
Yeah, they had well over 100,000 people, and then it got taken down, didn't it?
I think it's hijacked, or
I don't think it's still there. I just don't think it's quite as active as it used to be. Or he maybe did get taken down and he had to start a second one. Maybe that's what it was. And the second one just wasn't quite as active as the first. Something.
Big shout out to Brandon Daly, though. Hope you're doing well, brother.
Absolutely.
Not heard.
All right, I'm signaling. Oh, sorry, Josh. Go.
I was just going to say, I had not heard hiding her hair from Brendan for, well, pretty much since the last time he was on, even for just that brief minute. But maybe I'll just have to reach out, see what he's up to.
Yeah, see what he's up to. I was thinking the same thing. All right, I'm signaling. Turn ahead.
Signal.
Our buddy Daz there in chat asked a bit earlier, do you think the weather was more temperate before the mud flood? Did the reset make the extremes more extreme? I think weather was probably used as an extreme weapon to cause part of this reset. The reason I say that, Daz, I grew up in an area that was known as the Tornado Alley in Mississippi, central Mississippi. And so literally you would hear, train sound, you'd go hit a ditch, somebody's roof went flying into the air near you. That happened to us, to family members. I've told you guys the stories. What didn't happen was them saying, okay, next Wednesday, there's going to be a specific time period where this is going to happen. And for that time period, you better have your shit together. You better be under a freaking, ditch. You better be in your bunker. We're going to shut down schools. Do you guys remember a very specific weather prediction of that nature anytime growing up, ever? No, you had the drills in the hallway. All of you went and waited for hours sometimes, uncomfortably, hoping it didn't happen.
The whole premise of the movie Twister is based on the fact that we cannot predict tornadoes.
Thank you, sir. Fucking thank you. Okay, so then just this week, Shell came home. I don't even know. This was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Yeah, it's going to get really bad weather, and then it's going to get cold. Well, I just assumed that meant a cold front was going to come in. We'd get a little rain and thundery and move on. No. Suddenly she's telling me schools are shutting down. This is days in advance. Schools are going to shut down and all this crazy shit. I'm like, what the fuck? What? This is December. What is going on? This doesn't happen in December. There's a time period when we get the what's the big thing that kills us all? Hurricanes. Man, my brain just farted and went left. Okay, so the hurricanes, we know they're coming. We get the period. We're out of that period, and that's what I actually thought.
Missouri, right?
I'm sorry.
You're in Missouri, right?
I'm not. Josh is. Yeah, I'm
Josh,
in South Louisiana. Yeah, I'm in Hurricane Alley. So yeah, and we just mentioned to each other about a week ago that we got through the hurricane season this year without a bad one. I know our buddies over there in Florida and on the East Coast, you guys caught a piece of it there, Zach, and things. Austin and his crew down there. So we know it happened. They had some, but none of them hit us. Knock on wood again. So I thought to myself, is that it? We had to get some kind of bad weather, so they turned on the machine to fire it up, or has somebody mentioned something that pissed somebody off? And because guys, you can go look. There's fucking footage. You can find it. It's out there. We've looked at it on our channel a few times. There are places when these things start up that suddenly go on. They become active. They shoot up these huge plumes into the atmosphere. They're way temperature differentiated. These fucking beams shoot out into them. And yeah, they're fucking manipulating the weather. I don't think it had anything to do with a natural occurrence at all. The fact that they could predict these days that we're going to have this day and this time, and y'all, and it did. It tore up. A tornado destroyed part of a hospital 30 minutes from me. Lots of people had a lot of damage out of nowhere. And that just that doesn't happen here in Louisiana where I live. Sorry, go ahead, Zach.
There's a YouTube channel that was covering this yesterday, and it just happened to like kick on. I wasn't like on the phone. You know how it'll do that? It'll autoplay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching a video, and I just let it roll through, and it autoplayed to this one. But it was talking about all these storms going through Louisiana and towards Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
When I had heard about it, they had said they were already just like northeast of New Orleans. So I was like, okay, Walter's safe then. They're moving away from him.
We appreciate it. But yeah, man, we get tornadoes as peripheral, that word I can't say because it's too early, parts of a hurricane coming through. You know, either side of the bands will create those spinning spin-offs and stuff. We don't get the classic, oh look, there's a funnel forming, and that happens further east over in Mississippi, further north up to the west. You know, it doesn't happen in Louisiana. Maybe it does now because of the shift of the magnetic crowd that we know is happening, that we hear and feel and all that. I don't know. I don't think it's natural in any fucking way. It didn't feel natural. It felt like an attack. It's what it felt like.
Hey, Walt, what you're talking about right there, you said there was beams of light coming down from the sky, and then there was like these weird weather patterns?
Uh-huh, absolutely.
Okay, so I live in California, so I'm like in earthquake zone over here. So 2 years ago, roughly 2 to 3 years ago, there were all these different areas of these redwoods that were being burned down in these really, urban areas. And there are people that were outside recording video of these airplanes at night, and all of a sudden there would be a bright light that would come down like a laser, and all of a sudden the forest would catch on fire. So
I saw some of that.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of videos on it. Space Busters actually did a really good documentary on it. I think it was him, the guy Steve. But yeah, I mean, they're using this shit for a long time. They've fully admitted.
I think it was designed for this. This is just another application of it. The U.S. military dumps like hundreds of billions of dollars into research and development for their weapon systems. I guarantee all the stuff that's even being used on the battlefield is not the stuff that they have. So, there's these missiles and this and that and yada, 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 that they say nothing can shoot down. Well, I guarantee they have something that can shoot them all down. They've got, like you were saying, beam weapons. We're not talking about I have to shoot a missile up to hit this missile and blow it up. They'll just shoot a beam at it and either mess with the electronics or mess with something. The military's technology is so far advanced, we might even consider it magic if we didn't know what was going on. So yeah, I think it wasn't designed for this purpose. But it's something that they can use it for. Now, I know they've been working on manipulating the weather forever. I'm not saying that there isn't stuff out there that's designed just for that. But I think a lot of the stuff we're seeing now is them almost testing out their military They're new toys.
Yeah, and if
Hey,
people don't
destroy
think
a
the
country.
military has technology that's super, super advanced, there's a really old gun that is still used today on Navy ships and mounted to the back of like flatbed trucks. It's called the CWIS, CWIS. If you ever see one of those things shoot, and this is like 30, 40-year-old technology. Watch one of those things shoot. It shoots over 3,000 rounds a minute.
It's Gatling guns, right?
Yeah, it looks like R2-D2 with a big Gatling gun sticking out of the front of it.
Yeah.
It's the most powerful machine gun in the world. You can cut through anything with it.
Incoming missiles, and it'll cut a boat right in half.
Yeah, but the purpose of it is to actually track incoming missiles and rockets to defend the ship from that. And it'll just move and track those things real quick and shoot thousands of bullets in the air and destroy the bullets.
They have AA guns like that too, the anti-aircraft. As they're flying over, they will and they put up tracer rounds. It's like one round every 10 seconds or every
4 rounds.
4 rounds. But it looks like the tracer coming out, brrr. Yeah, it's ridiculous how fast they shoot.
So that's the technology that they show you.
Right. If we're seeing it, they've got shit we can't imagine. Interesting comment, I guess, in relation to this, Mr. Super Sidewinder there in chat. Common circuit boards are 1 or 2 layers. Military circuit boards are 40 plus layers.
Jeez, oh Pete's. So yeah, I can't even imagine all the different capabilities that the new military tech that hopefully will never be seen on a battlefield, right? But that's what I'm saying. It's not, the new wars aren't designed to be fought on battlefields. They're silent wars. How can we destroy this country without them even knowing that we're doing it?
McDonald's.
Take over the education system? Yeah. But no, really, I mean, I think a lot of these weapons that they're coming out with are designed to not be seen or heard of ever. Like we saw these fires just kicking off out in California where the trees that were 50 feet away from the houses didn't burn. But the aluminum on the car's tires melted. That doesn't happen. So we know something weird was going on there. Now, was that our military? Was it another military? That's just one of those ways that you could really mess with another country without them ever really knowing that you did it. I think that's where we're going now. The whole wars fought on battlefields, I'm not saying it's not ever going to happen, but it's a lot easier to answer when the question's not even asked, right? When nobody has any idea that you did anything, you don't even have to speak. There's no reason why you did it. You don't have to, you don't have to come up with a story. Like World War I. What, this one guy, this Duke, Arch Ferdinand, whatever, gets assassinated and that starts a world war? They're still questioning why that war started over 100 years later. Well, now they don't have to, They start wars and finish them without people even knowing there was a war. And they use economics just as much. Yeah, it's a new world, brave new world, right? Isn't that what they say? So I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. But if you guys ever want to watch what a Phalanx CWIS gun looks like, it's about a 50-second video. I just posted that in the chat. It's fucking crazy to see this if you've never seen this kind of weapon before.
Hang on, I'll pop that on. Give me a second.
But yeah, Zach, you're talking about as far as needing soldiers. I think we'll always need soldiers. I think that we're not going to need like infantry quite as much anymore. They're going to move more towards like CIA, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, things like that. And everything else is just going to become more of a psychological warfare, as well as an economic type of a warfare.
Yeah, the wars that we see and hear about are going to be because they want us to see and hear about them. It's almost like a propaganda tool that they're using. I mean, wag the dog.
This is a machine gun.
Crazy shit.
I've seen that fire at least 5 times in person. So it's a real gun.
Pretty crazy. I've seen videos of those before too, in reference to like, I guess UFOs or something. I don't remember why I would be watching those videos. And that brings us right there to the last half of the first half of the last quarter of the century of, I don't know.
Nailed it. No, he's right though. That does bring us right to the end of the first half of the second half of the Ironworks. Some great conversations this morning. We're going to have some even more interesting conversations this afternoon. Stick around, you'll find out exactly, approximately, what that might be. We'll be right back.
If you don't sow, you don't reap. You don't even have a chance. So if you looked at your game plan tomorrow, you might come to the quick conclusion, I got to get some sowing going. How true. Get you some sowing going. And remember, you've got plenty of time. You've got all the time there is. Some people spend enough TV time to make a fortune. I asked a guy one time what his TV cost. He said about $450. I said, you forgot to look at the price tag. He said, what do you mean? I knew he was a TV watcher. I said, that television costs you, in my opinion, at least $12,000 a year to watch it, not to own it. Owning it's cheap. Watching it is what's expensive. And I said, hey, $12,000 a year is too much to pay to watch TV. That's too much. Pay a little, but not $12,000. And he's the guy that said, I hope
the reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Ann, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
We exist in the security and comfort of our worlds. Paved paths, lights, and manicured lawns give us peace of mind that our world has been tamed, and we are its master. But other worlds exist on the edge of our sight. On the edge of our awareness, the shadows move. The woods fill with the unblinking eyes of the nightmares our ancestors warned us about. Some of us have stumbled into these forgotten realms, whether on purpose or completely by surprise. I'm Brent Thomas. Join us on the Paranormal Portal Friday and Saturday nights from 10 p.m. to midnight Pacific Standard Time as we journey into the world of the paranormal phenomena.
Answer the paranormal portal if you dare. No hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR, your protection from deception.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. You're listening to Iron Realm Media. I listen all the time, and it's the best truth show out there. Forget about the mainstream lying. Get your weekly dose of iron. Realm, that is. Stay woke, folks.
And welcome back. Fourth and final segment of the Ironworks this chilly Friday morning, at least for us here in St. Louis. I think winter has finally settled in.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared to look out there. That it got down to 32 and precipitation yesterday, so I just don't want to see snow if it's sitting out there, but I'll take a look when the sun comes around.
I shall say nothing. I mean, I really can't complain. Yes, to me it's cold, but to you guys, what I'm sitting here in is, I'm sure, quite balmy at 43 Fahrenheit. So, but it's chilly. It's, considering I was walking around in shorts days ago. Thank you for the coffee, Daz. Shout out, sir, for that super chat.
Much
As I looked up.
What was that, Josh?
I said much appreciated. I love that super chats don't translate that well through to Restream, so it just describes the sticker for you.
Oh, really? What does it say? The sticker
It says, pair character exaggeratedly stretching his arms forward to offer a cup of coffee.
That is epic. I fucking love that. Oh, that's great.
So have you heard about quantum computing?
I've heard about it. It's the thing they want us to believe exists.
Is this like where they put, never mind. That's a different story. Different computer chip, sorry.
I mean, they've been claiming we're going to have quantum computers for how long now?
Well, I thought Google had theirs fired up going right now.
No, none of them are real quantum computers, though. They're the closest thing they have to them, supposedly. See, that's the thing. It's not based in reality. Computers that can use quantum mechanics' spooky properties to solve problems quicker than existing technology may seem appealing, but they must first overcome a major obstacle. See, I mean, it's gravity. Let's make gravity work in space. Yeah, it doesn't. Okay? Sorry. New theory. You got to throw that one out. They've made up all this stuff. It's the same as dark matter and dark energy. Quarks and neutrinos and these things that pop in and out of existence and can hold whatever charge you want it to hold. And it's like No, that's Peter Pan. That's not real.
So in physics, a quantum is the minimum amount of any physical entity involved in an interaction. The fundamental notion that a physical property can be, quote unquote, quantized is referred to as, again, quote unquote, the hypothesis of quantization. How do you even say that word? Quantization.
You say it much later in the day. Is how you do it, Andrew.
It says it's a hypothesis, though. That's like the entire idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes, our computers have gotten a lot faster and a lot smaller because advancements in technology. We can take things and make them very, very small, teeny tiny. Machines do it for us. We don't do it. We program machines to make them this small, but we've hit our limit again. Until a new technology comes out that can make things even smaller, our computers aren't going to get that much faster without getting bigger again. So, I mean, on some certain level, you can say, yeah, it's a quantum computer because they're so small. The processors, the chips, everything is getting smaller and smaller and faster at the same time.
Well, don't forget about that movie that came out with Scarlett Johansson called Lucy. And the whole movie was about quantum computing and how she got overtaken by the quantum computer, and she just turned into like this self-replicating computer that could be, it was like God, essentially.
And what form did she take?
Yeah, it
Black
comes
goo?
at the end of the movie.
Black goo.
Yeah, like black goo, yeah, basically.
I think David M. has it right. The brain is quantum computing. That's that's what's doing quantum computations. Your eyes moving around and focusing in a millisecond on things. I mean, you know how long it takes a camera to focus when you zoom in on something, then you wait for it and this and that? That camera's doing all kinds of calculations and this and that and yada, yada, yada. Your brain does that 100 times faster. Our brains are the greatest computers in this place, hands down. Maybe a whale's brain, actually. They say some of those big whales, their processing and communication centers of the brain are like 5 times that of a human in size. And I know they're a lot bigger and this and that, but yeah, our brains are quantum computers. They are as close as we're going to get to a quantum computer, and they still don't know how it works. They have no idea. That's a quantum computer. When you throw soul in something that can't be measured or counted or this or that.
So from what you just told us, Andrew, it's something to do with like amount of energy used in the process. I thought it was about like the crazy end of like what was it Einstein called it, the spooky stuff, I guess, such like what's the word, superposition, or the other one where shit's too close, entanglement, that shit, all that kind of crazy. I thought that was the idea.
Is what like CERN is trying and like.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I thought that was the idea behind what they're going to be doing in the future with quantum computing. That's why I didn't really conceive of there possibly being really a Google quantum computer. I realized it was just them trying to impress people. It was just this idea that like these are things that have not, there's not one iota of proof for them. Oh, well, they've got a dot on a screen here and a dot on a screen there. Fuck you. That don't mean a fucking thing to me. Show me 2 things in a position of some reality. Here's the thing over here. It's the same thing. You can't, because that's not real. If it's here and here, that's 2 different fucking things. I don't care what kind of magical word you spin it into.
Well, I've done a lot of research on this. I actually wrote a report on it in college many years ago. And one of the things I was talking about was this guy. There's 2 people. Ben Goertzel, I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of him before, and Ray Kurzweil.
I know Ray Kurzweil.
Right. Well,
Yes, sir.
Ben Gertzel is like Ray Kurzweil on steroids. He's a super nerd. Just look him up, and it's a really weird Geortzle or something like that. Ben Gertzel, and the dude looks like someone you'd see like at a rave or something, like tripping on acid. But the dude's got like 2 PhDs in mathematics.
Oh, I have seen this guy. I just didn't know that was his name. Yeah, I've seen like maybe a thing he did at a TED Talk or something on a YouTube video.
Oh, he's
That's
been
all I
on
know
all
about
sorts
him.
of stuff. Yeah, he's
Right.
been on.
Yeah, I've seen him though. As soon as I pulled him up and I saw the picture. I'm like, yeah, he's the freak looking dude. Yep, that's him.
Yeah, the dude's a fucking genius though, and he's basically the world's leading researcher when it comes to AI. And he absolutely believes it's going to happen. He says it's just a matter of which country is going to make it happen first. And he brings up a really weird point, which is true. I don't think he created this idea. I think it was some Russian that said it, and said that the country that creates AI first is going to be the winner. So they're all racing to do it first.
That sounds like the game I used to play with my kids. All right, we went to the grocery store. Now we're bringing groceries in. First one in is the winner. Yay. Yay, I win. Great, you get to do the dishes. You won.
Yeah, I don't buy AI. That's the one thing that I mean, even dogs, cats, bugs, name it, plants, they all have intelligence. But we can create a computer, but is it intelligent? Is it ever going to learn beyond what we've programmed it to do?
Well, here's the thing about it. And this is something I didn't actually know about until I listened to Ben Gertzel. And there is 3 different forms of AI. There's AI, which is artificial intelligence. Then there's AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. And then we have ASI, artificial superintelligence. So ASI is the ultimate form of it. That's when it becomes sentient, self-aware, the most extreme form that we probably never want to experience. Then a step down from that, artificial general intelligence, which we actually have working today. Google actually owns it. And I can prove that through many different forms of video games, chess simulations, and different applications. And that was Google DeepMind. And the step below that is just artificial intelligence. And that just means making something happen without human interaction actually working along with it. And we've had that for a long time in cars and in electronics, things like that. That's pretty much what your phone is doing. So that's artificial intelligence. It's just doing something without human interaction. And the point of I lost my point. I'll shut up. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just saying even the dumbest person will still be more advanced than any computer that we can create.
Potentially.
Potentially, yeah. It has potential to do far more in it. I'm talking in terms of advancement. Like once it's turned on, the computer can gather information and then process it the way it was told to process it. Now, if there was nothing about flat Earth on the internet, would the computer believe that the Earth is a globe? I mean, the computer doesn't have the senses to go out and see the world the way we do. Our data gathering is much less limited than a computer's. It's all based on impulses that may be true, may not be true. We could tell the computer that the sky is bright hot pink all the time, and this and that, and this and that. And would that computer believe that? So the computer's only going to do what we program it to do. it's never going to go beyond that and say, hey, I'd like to do something else now. I'm going to just start doing this. That to me is like the sign of intelligence. You know, making a choice that isn't pre-programmed into you. So yeah, it depends on how you look at it. If you define it in certain ways, this and that, the last one that you say there, the self-aware AI, I don't think can ever happen. Yeah, computers, they are amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking them. I love them. They make life a lot easier for a lot of people and harder for some. But I don't think they'll ever reach intelligence, like self-awareness, a consciousness. We can't create that.
So we're not going to have a whole band of robots up on stage just jamming out for all the kids, making up the music as they go. It's all got to be pre-programmed, autonomous stuff.
Chuck E. Cheese sings the same song every time I was there.
There's a channel going right now. It goes 24 hours a day that has procedurally generated gent music going. It's constantly changing. It never repeats, and it's always freaking heavy. How does it work? I don't have a fucking clue. But this guy programmed it, and it does do that. It changes. It's not the same thing every time. And that's like these art things that are going on right now that is really starting to get on my nerves, because just yesterday, day before yesterday, I went to a friend's house I had not seen in quite some time. And she was super excited to show me all of her little, I don't know, whatever the current big one is. It's not the one we're using, Josh, not Night Cafe, but one of the other ones. I can't think of it. Anyway, and so she pulled up her phone, and here's all of these little faces that are just like generic computer generated faces. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And I've done a few things for our show. My stuff tends to run towards more bizarre, like undefinable, really crazy shit. And I like that idea, that aspect, the unknowable thing that it can create. But this idea of creating a replication of somebody, I don't know. She's an artist. That's the thing that's irritating, is she is a phenomenal artist. With a pencil in her hand, she does stuff that is photorealistic. So why put all that down to pick up a phone and start saying, I say these words, and the computer then draws art? Anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked on that. But yeah, I don't know, Zach. I think AI is part of this whole thing we're kind of stuck in. I really kind of feel there's way too much structural. I don't know. It seems to me if I was going to be a creator of a thing that was organic, it would be organic at the base. It wouldn't be, I don't know. I'm just kind of spinning out here. I just feel like AI is very possible and probable, and we're probably wrapped up in it in a huge way.
I've been
But
really
that's just me.
surprised at the influx of these new face apps where you put your picture up there and it spits you out 17 different versions of that picture of you. I mean, this is that exact issue where you are the product. Right? All they got to do is start cataloging your biometrics from your facial recognition.
Speaking on that, Dave Weiss did a video maybe 6 months ago or so where he showed Dave Weiss,
man,
the man, the legend, where he showed this thing called AI face generator or random face generator, something like that. And I went to the website and I was like, holy shit, you can literally just click on random and it'll just pull up some random age, ethnicity, gender, whatever. And it looks fucking real as hell. I mean, you can notice a couple of glitches here and there. They want you to pay for it now, but back when I did it, it was free. But yeah, that's the power of what's going on with today's technology. And music eventually is going to be gone because AI is just going to be able to figure out these different frequencies and tunes and tones and whatever and just make music. in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much more music to be created. It's kind of like the Shakespearean plays. There's only 19 stories you can tell. There's only so many notes. I think if somebody tried suing Led Zeppelin for the Stairway to Heaven intro. That I wrote this, blah, 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 blah. Here's my copy, yada, yada, yada. And then their lawyer found something from like way back in the day, like Beethoven Bach time period. Some artist from way back when, and said, nope, here's the same notes right here. You didn't make it up. It's free, copyright free, blah, 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 blah. So I think music, it's kind of like, it's almost like a computer. It can only do so much. There's only so many notes, so many sounds, frequencies that we tune into. It would be really neat if they there was I think it was, I don't even know, some TV show about this genius musician. At a very young age, he was playing like, Bach and Beethoven at like 4 years old. He was a prodigy. When he got older, he got into like punk, and instead of being loved for his music, he wanted to make people feel different about music. And so he made the most disruptive chord pattern that he could. It just sounded horrible. It sounded like, birds fighting almost, or just something that you wouldn't want to hear. And I could see, well, no, because it's not soothing to the, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. But see, that's something I don't think that a computer would do.
Speaking of stuff you don't want to hear. So yeah, this is 10 hours of procedurally generated progressive metal, and he explains it in a video how he came up with this and programmed the machine to do this for 10 hours, just create these fucking riffs. Which is, it's like, if you're not in a gent, I get it, but yeah, it's pretty nuts. That
this is not actually people playing it.
This is procedurally, algorithmically. Here, it's in the show note. I mean, it's in his description right here. Let me try to turn it down a bit. This is Dennis Martinson's channel, by the way. 10 hours of gent music with procedural generation. Some time ago, I uploaded a video of a project I've been working on. Where was it? An explanation of how this works was posted in that first video. Essentially, I started sampling all the guitar notes on my Ibanez RGIF7, which is a baritone guitar, 7-string. Drop E fucking tuning. That's nuts. And exporting each note into separate audio files. And I did the same with each drum note I could hit, with each bass note, each various synth note. Then I loaded this program in together and let it piece it all together, and here it is. And it's fucking nuts that it just makes this happen. And I get it. If you're not into jet, you think this sounds like crap. But these riffs are fucking nuts. I mean, anywhere you go, it's something different. Anyway, there you go. Go check him out. We'll probably get taken down by this dude now. But yeah, Dennis Martinson channel. It's pretty nuts. I'll drop the link to the channel, to the video where he explains it all here.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. These machines are amazing that we've created. It is. I don't want to say it's not a miracle, but it's extraordinary. It's awesome. But it will, even if we advance them as far as we can one day, the farthest possibilities possible, it'll never have the potential like what the creator can do.
Absolutely.
That's just me.
I wasn't giggling at what you said. I'm reading in chat there that Grounded Extracts James saying drop C is his favorite. Yeah, I like me some drop B. Anyway. Oh, I'm saying I used to have a gorgeous Ibanez Blazer. I loved that guitar. I hear you, friend. I hear you. Sounds like a pretty thing.
The only guitar that I ever owned was an Ibanez 350.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a girlfriend that worked. She was assistant manager at Guitar Center, and she got me a real good discount on it. And then my buddy stole it from me, and I never played guitar since.
That sucks, man. You need to play.
Yeah, I've had my same guitar. I've bought 5 or 6 now, but I have the original, my Washburn D8 Anniversary Edition. It's got a classical neck on it. I have long fingers, and they're kind of fat at the ends, so I have to. It makes it easier to have a real wide fret, like a classical guitar. That's why I have a lot of issues playing other people's guitar when they have the skinny neck on there.
Yep. Once you get used to a certain thing, it's hard to change. I used to play my Explorer, which has a 24-inch scale, and then I got that Tremonti, which has a 25-inch scale. And you would think that wouldn't make a difference, but playing down in that fifth fret, first through fifth fret area, it's a huge difference. Yeah, those stretches are massively different. So
yeah, because most of the time, when I'm playing, I just run my hand down and it hits right where it's supposed to, and then I grab another guitar.
Somebody else is in it. Yeah.
Right off. It's like, whoa.
That's why when you pick up a certain guitar and everything's where it's supposed to be, it's like,
I love you.
Wow. Speaking of guitar, I guess that's it.
There is a show tonight.
There's a show. We'll be there. You should
come hang out with us. We'll be hanging out with David M. We were supposed to have Thunder Chicken come on, have a little conversation about horticulture, but he had bigger and better plans. So everybody send positive vibes out there to Thunder Chicken and wish him good luck for this evening. In the meantime, you guys be good, be well. We love you. Bye-bye.